Hello, friends. Today we are going to learn about reading stories. I have five stories, short stories. Story number one, make the tea. Story number two, at the doctor. Story number three, take a chance. Story number four, secret work. Story number five, miss the shot. Let's go. We are going to improving our reading skills. Make the tea. Mary's mother was nearly 70, and Mary and her husband wanted to give the old lady a nice birthday present. She liked drinking tea, so Mary ordered an electric machine which made the tea and then woke you up in the morning. She wrapped it up in a pretty paper and brought it to her mother on her birthday. Then her mother opened the package and Mary showed her how to use it. Before you go to bed, put the tea in the pot and the water in the kettle, she explained to the old lady. And don't forget to switch the electricity on. Then, when you wake up in the morning, your tea will be ready. A few days After a few days, Mary's mother rang up and said, perhaps I'm being rather silly, but there's one thing I'm confused about. Why do I have to go to bed to make the tea? At the doctor. An important businessman went to see his doctor because he could not sleep at night. The doctor examined him carefully and then said to him, your trouble is that you need to learn to relax. Have you got any hobbies? The businessman thought for a few moments and then said, no, doctor, I haven't. I don't have any time for hobbies. Well, the doctor answered, that is your main trouble. You see, you don't have time for anything except your work. You must find some hobbies and you must learn to relax with them, or you'll be dead in less than 5 years. Why don't you learn to paint pictures? All right, doctor, the businessman said. I will try that. The next day he telephoned the doctor and said, that was a very good idea of yours, doctor. Thank you very much. I'm already painted 15 pictures since I saw you. Take a chance. Mr. Gray was the manager of a small office in London. He lived in the country and came up to work by train. He liked walking from the station to his office unless it was raining, because it gave him some exercise. One morning he was walking along the street when a stranger stopped him and said to him, you may not remember me, sir, but 7 years ago I came to London without a penny in my pockets. I stopped you in the street and asked you to lend me some money, and you lent me £5 because you said that you were willing to take a chance so as to give a man a start on the road to success. Mr. Gray thought for a few moments and then said, yes, I remember you. Go on with your story. Well, answered the stranger, are you still willing to take a chance? Secret work. During the Second World War, it was difficult to travel by plane because the seats were needed for important government and army people. Mr. Brown worked for the government during the war. He was a civilian and he was doing very secret work, so nobody was allowed to know how important he was except a very few people. One day he had to fly to Edinburgh to give a lecture to a few top people there. But an important army officer came to the airport at the last minute, and Mr. Brown's seat was given to him. So he was not able to fly to the city to give his lecture. It was not until he reached the city that the important officer discovered that the man whose seat he had taken was the one whose lecture he had flown to the city to hear. Miss the shot. Peter Jude joined the army when he was 18, and for several months he was taught how to be a good soldier. He did quite well in everything except shooting. One day he and his friend were practicing their shooting, and all of them were doing quite well except Peter. After he had shot at the target 9 times and had not hit it once, the officer who was trying to teach the young soldiers to shoot said, "You're quite hopeless, Peter. Don't waste your last bullet too. Go behind that wall and shoot yourself with it." Peter laughed ashamed. He went behind the wall, and a few seconds later, the officer and the other young soldiers heard the sound of a shot. "Heavens!" the officer said. "Has that silly man really shot himself?" He ran behind the wall anxiously, but Peter was all right. "I'm sorry, sir," he said, "but I miss again." Thank you for listening to the lesson today. If you wish to have this video, you may ask me by the email or in the comment column. Thank you. I will see you in the next lesson. I hope you enjoy it. Goodbye.